morning, guys. Just want to give you a little update on the Demon Performance Jeep behind me. We have completed the tubular front kit on this thing, or it's not really a kit, it's a one-off custom deal. But just gonna do a little walk around and show you how much we have cut out of this thing. Now you'll notice the front suspension, K-member, all that stuff is gone. We are actually designing a tubular version of all of that to try to lighten it up. The K-member itself over here is really not as heavy as you would think. This entire thing here is only 65 pounds, even though it looks really big, but those lower control arms are really heavy. So we've got all that scanned in, and Joey's doing a little design on that to try to come up with something to offer for these things that really drop some weight. But just give you a quick run around of what we've done on the front. We cut the fender skirts off underneath here and plated them. We have cut back the cowl panel, I guess you'd call it, got rid of all of that, and I just sprayed some primer on that because we sanded a lot on the sheet metal, took some of the oil off of it, and that prevents it from flash rusting while it sits here. We've got our tabs for our fenders on the back. In the front here, we kept the original top core support on the ends just because the headlights and all that stuff mounts on this piece, and rather than try to recreate all that stuff with tubing, it was just a lot easier and a lot better, we thought, to try to leave small portions of the OEM structure here. So that's what we did also at the bottom, because the headlight is supported right here at this point, and then you have your fender mounts and bumper mounts right here. So just trimmed it all down as much as we could. You also see the bars here coming from the A-pillars that come past the towers, and the towers on these things have a little piece that comes up like this. We cut that off and flattened it because there's really no use for it, and it just looks cleaner chopped off like that. We've got bars that French in the front here. It's welded here. We plated the frame and welded them down there. These are also welded on the underside. On the back, this is a double layer piece right here. We trimmed it back, got some material out of it, and then we clamped these together and welded the seam back shut. But that's a really strong piece right there. We didn't see the need of putting anything in the back just to take up more room and add more weight, so we're just going to leave it like that. This setup's going to have an engine plate on it, so that'll have plenty of room to go right there with the tabs. This side was done the same way. So we tried to fill in all that with some nice TIG weld. And then on the pieces for the core support, we capped those off with sheet metal. And what's neat about this setup is, go over here and get it. This is the original top piece. Well, yeah, if I can get it lined up, but it goes right back on there. So this piece can still be used for the top of the bumper cover and the plastic piece, and it's not really that heavy. Building one out of chromoly tubing probably would not save any weight at all. So It's neat that piece can still be used. Put it back over here. But the next thing is to get something with the K-member and front suspension designed up and built, and get that all back in the car or the Jeep, and then mock the engine and transmission up, and then we can start going rearward with the chassis. Don't really know how much weight we took out of it. I took a weight of the Jeep whenever they first brought it, and I know what it weighed before we started putting any bars in it. So we will weigh it after it's done and has all this extra chassis stuff in it, and we will compare what it ended up being. What we're trying to do now is take weight out of it, because we're having to put all this weight back in it with cage and everything else. So you want to at least even it out, if not drop weight even with adding all that stuff back on there. So that's your Jeep update. See you next time.